And we start with a breaking news update. Remember, with regards to the Praveen murder case, a clear PFI link has come to light with regards to the charge sheet. And now we are picking up a reaction from a PFI leader who in fact says that the raids that are being conducted repeatedly are being done to target people of the Muslim community. And overall, the government in Karnataka is using the NIA to create an atmosphere of fear in Dakshina Kannada. Let's quickly listen in.
ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆರಳೆಣಿಕೆಯ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರ ಮನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬಹುತೇಕ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಸದಸ್ಯರ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ದಾಳಿಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ NIAಯನ್ನು ಚೂಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಭಯದ ವಾತಾವರಣವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಿಸುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು, ಈ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕೊಲೆಯಲ್ಲ ನಡೆದಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು, 3 ಹತ್ಯೆಗಳು ನಡೆದಿದೆ. ಅದು ಮಸೂದ್ ಹತ್ಯೆಯಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಫಾಜಿಲ್ ಹತ್ಯೆಯವರೆಗೆ 3 ಪ್ರಕರಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ನೆಟ್ಟಾರು ಪ್ರಕರಣವನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ NIAಗೆ ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದರ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಬಂಧನ ಆದ ನಂತರವೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ NIA ಮೂಲಕ ಸಮುದಾಯವನ್ನು ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಭಯದ ವಾತಾವರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಗೆ ಚಾಲನೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದೆ.
So the PFI is alleging certain sort of a nexus there, saying that the NIA is being selective in its investigation that is being carried out because there have been other targeted killings and murders that have been reported in the state, but only few of them are said to be investigated by the NIA, and this is a way to vitiate the atmosphere and to create communal unrest. So here are PFI. This is coming at a time when the charge sheet that has also been accessed by Times Now talks about a certain link with the PFI that is assuming when it comes to the killings that have taken place there. They say that this was part of a larger conspiracy to terrorize a certain section of the community, and also talking about when NIA had been carrying out several rounds of raids, incriminating material, documents, ammunition that has been recovered after those suspects were taken into custody. So a clear PFI link, that is what the NIA seems to be talking about. Now the PFI has hit back saying that NIA is being selective in its approach and investigation.
The pictures that you see on your screen, viewers, are of those murder cases that have been investigated since the year 2016, in which at least 5 to 6 of these cases, the investigations have revealed a clear PFI STPI hand, and yet you have this kind of denial coming in from a PFI leader who says that the NIA is acting in a selective manner, that investigations are not taking place with regards to other murder cases in the state. This is an attempt to spoil the atmosphere in Dakshina Kannada. But the fact remains that if we go by the charge sheet that has been accessed in the Praveen murder case, it is very, very clear that he was hacked to death and the motive was to terrorize the Hindu community. That's been also alleged by the NIA in its charge sheet with regards to the Harsha murder case. Striking similarities between the two charge sheets, and the motive that the NIA has made very, very clear via the charge sheet was to create an atmosphere of fear amongst the Hindu community members. But first up, let's quickly listen into the defense coming in from this PFI leader.
ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರ ಮನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬಹುತೇಕ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಸದಸ್ಯರ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ದಾಳಿಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ NIAಯನ್ನು ಚೂಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಭಯದ ವಾತಾವರಣವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಿಸುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು, ಈ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕೊಲೆಯಲ್ಲ ನಡೆದಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು, 3 ಹತ್ಯೆಗಳು ನಡೆದಿದೆ. ಅದು ಮಸೂದ್ ಹತ್ಯೆಯಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಫಾಜಿಲ್ ಹತ್ಯೆಯವರೆಗೆ 3 ಪ್ರಕರಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ನೆಟ್ಟಾರು ಪ್ರಕರಣವನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ NIAಗೆ ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದರ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಬಂಧನ ಆದ ನಂತರವೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ NIA ಮೂಲಕ ಸಮುದಾಯವನ್ನು ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಭಯದ ವಾತಾವರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಗೆ ಚಾಲನೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದೆ.
Going across to Deepak, straight up. Deepak, over 700-page charge sheet that has been filed by the NIA in the Harsha murder case. Exactly the links to the PFI that is now surfacing once again. And the PFI is hitting back saying that it is the NIA which is being selective in its approach.
Yes, this is the allegation of some of the PFI leaders. They're saying that the state government is using the NIA to instill fear in the community, the Muslim community in particular. They're saying apart from PFI workers, members of the Muslim community as well were targeted during these searches. They're also saying that while Praveen's case is being investigated thoroughly, what about the case of Masood and Faisal? Meanwhile, of course, the Congress on the other hand has also hit out at the ruling dispensation going on to say that, the NIA comes out with all of this just for political gains of the BJP, but the BJP over and above this keeps saying that, the PFI needs to be banned, but there's no work in progress. We've just had a word with the Karnataka Home Minister pertaining to all of these developments. Firstly, the searches, the statement by the NIA, the charge sheet that has been filed in the Harsha murder case. He's given Times Now a detailed reaction to all of this, and also with regard to what the opposition is saying. The Home Minister, in his reaction to Times Now, has just stated that what the NIA is doing is the right, move. The police as well had an idea that the PFI was involved. That is why, the investigation took a lot of time, because there's an organizational effort. He also says that the thorough probe will be done, and the case will be brought to a logical end by the NIA through its investigation, and that's why both these cases have been handed over to them. As far as the Congress's charge of the BJP going easy on the PFI is concerned, he says that the Congress has no moral authority, to actually say anything like this, because, during the time of Mr. Siddaramaiah, the cases against them were withdrawn, and many of them, were given a free run to carry out with the activities they had. We, of course, put out that reaction. So, a lot of developments have already come in. Political reactions have come in after this raids by the NIA, which, of course, in its release has said that, used ammunition was found. They're saying a lot of literature has been seized, and a lot of other evidences have been seized. Meanwhile, of course, we also put out details of the charge sheet in the Harsha murder case. This is pertaining to Shivamogga, which happened, a few months ago. In that particular case, they are saying that, there was a specific intent to target somebody who was a Hindu activist, and Harsha, since he was a prominent activist in that particular region, that's the reason, he was targeted.
Like you mentioned, Deepak, allegations and counter-allegations flying thick and fast. The Congress has now come out and said that if there is mounting evidence against the PFI and its involvement in several of these murder cases, why is no action being taken against the PFI? Why no ban? And if we do come to power, we will make sure that this kind of a step is taken. So let's listen into what the Congress has to say.
And they say that we'll ban PFI, but there is no action on that. So my question to the BJP is, if you are so certain that PFI is getting it done, what is the action you have taken? If you are certain, you have proof. Are these charge sheets and all the investigations you carry are just for the momentary benefit, political benefit, and does not give any justice to the victim?
Going back to Deepak on this, because Deepak, after such kind of murders that have been reported, the Chief Minister was also talking about a certain force that will be looking into such kind of targeted killings in the state. Now PFI link is now surfacing as well. What will the Chief Minister and the state government now do and talk about it?
Well, the Congress raises a point which, of course, has been widely spoken about, that, for the last few years, we've seen multiple times the BJP say that the organization like the PFI should be banned. But do they have enough evidence? Because we saw this happen in Chhattisgarh, where a ban came in, then the courts, of course, revoked it. So the BJP here, at least in Karnataka, keeps saying that there needs to be a lot of evidence that needs to be collected, that needs to be produced in court. So do they have it up until now? Or even if they have it, why hasn't it been done? Because most of their leaders make a statement that, that this is a radical organization trying to create unrest in the society. Well, if it does, why is no action being taken is the question that the Congress party is raising. To that, more often than not, the reaction that comes in from the BJP is that the Congress has somewhere nurtured this, this organization and helped it grow, even withdrew cases against them. But no clear-cut answer comes in. Whether there's more than what meets the eye politically to this is a question that definitely arises in such situations. And more importantly, the PFI says that, they are only being targeted because they are siding by, people of the Muslim community. They're taking up real issues. They're taking on the government. And that's the reason, agencies like the NIA are being used against them. So it's quite an interesting mix of political reactions that's coming to the fore with pertaining to this particular topic. But at the end of the day, one thing is for certain. Any organization that is backing criminals, they should be held responsible for it, because you cannot, shy away from responsibility and saying, well, he was, a part of the organization, but the organization has nothing to do with it. So the organization should keep a check on, who are the people joining, what is their intention, and do they intend to carry out crimes that are not just personal in nature, but but also, targeting, the harmony in society. So these are issues that definitely need to be given a serious thought.
Absolutely. Now, the fact remains, Deepak, that these are very, very serious details that have come to light via these charge sheets, and that's something that must be looked at the earliest. This kind of a political blame game has been going on with regards to a ban on the PFI, a call that is being given repeatedly, questions being asked by the Congress party, but the fact remains that these details have revealed that there was an ulterior motive to create fear in the minds of the Hindu community, and that must be investigated too. We have a breaking news reaction coming in. First reaction from the Karnataka Home Minister on the same. Listen in.
The NIA conducting raids in Mangalore, they have said that the intention was, to instill fear in a particular community. They've also said that, the PFI links have clearly emerged. What do you make of, these developments?
ನಮಗೆ ಆರಂಭದಿಂದಲೂ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು, PFI ಲಿಂಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ಕೂಡ ತಡ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇದರ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಇದು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್.
Saying that initially as well there was information with the police of the involvement of the PFI. He is saying that what NIA investigation is going on is right. These sort of forces must be contained, and the investigation will reach its logical end.
Somebody from the Hindu community who's an activist, they are also saying issues like hijab, TA, NRC, that's the reason they had this anger and hatred that was developing. ಈ ತರ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
ಹೌದು ಹೌದು, ಖಂಡಿತ ಹೌದು. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎರಡು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಸೂಚನೆಗಳಿತ್ತು ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ
these people are involved in such activities. There seems to be a similar information that came in both these murders. That's the reason we gave the NIA the case to be investigated.
PFI ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂತೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಅವ್ರ ಸೈಡ್ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Asking him a question on the Congress's charge that the BJP is siding with the PFI, not taking action against them. The Home Minister saying that the Congress does not have a moral right to say anything in this topic, because about thousands of cases pertaining to the PFI were withdrawn by the Congress regime during Siddaramaiah.
Central government NIA ಕೂಡ ಈ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Today our government is inquiring this. Even the center is apprised of these activities through the NIA's investigation. Such organizations are trying to disrupt harmony, but we are trying to, of course, investigate this entire issue.
Right, but if such organizations are trying to create disharmony there, Deepak, what exactly is the investigation being put into by the state government? Because Chief Minister has been talking about a certain force that will be brought into place, but such kind of targeted killings continue to be reported.
Yeah, precisely, and there has to be somewhere a stop to it, because at the end of the day innocent lives are being lost. Families are the ones who are suffering. There is also somewhere tense atmosphere in the society when such incidents happen, and even following that, and we've seen the situation like that remain for quite long periods of time, be it in Shimoga, be it in Chikmagalur, be it in coastal Karnataka, especially around the Dakshina Kannada areas. Now, even earlier we've heard, the BJP leaders saying that dossiers are being prepared, it's going to be sent to the center. What happened to all of this? If an organization is to blame for these killings, what is the action that they are initiating is the question. If you ask the PFI, they say, well, this is nothing but vendetta, this is nothing but targeting them. The Congress says they have nothing to do with the PFI. The BJP, is the one that stands to gain with the growth of the PFI. So politics, of course, is at large, but at the end of the day, it's the people and their suffering that every politician is probably turning their blind eye to, while the investigation right now is going on. Whether they will be able to prevent such incidents is the most important question, rather than reacting to such incidents.
And the aim behind these murders, especially if we talk about the details that have come to light with regards to the Praveen murder case, is of utmost importance here, Deepak, because, you know, whatever the force may be behind this, the fact remains that this was all pre-planned and a deliberate attempt at that to create terror in the minds of a particular community. Remember, in the case of the Harsha murder details as well, as has been put out by the NIA in the charge sheet, they made it very clear that the accused that have been mentioned in the charge sheet singled out Harsha, you know, for his role as an active Hindu community figure. Not just that, identified him, did a recce in detail, and then went ahead with the assassination. So all of these cases are bringing to light one commonality.
Yes, for sure. Targeting, you know, a particular sect of people to instill fear in the society. These are aspects that find a mention. You know, in the release that came out yesterday after the raids, it also, you know, is finding a mention in the charge sheet. The PFI, of course, is mentioned in the Praveen Nettaru case. The PFI doesn't find a mention in the charge sheet in the Shimoga case. More importantly, they're also saying that several evidences have been collected to back this, and it has been mentioned in both the cases. That, you know, if there is particular planning that is being done. Now, these are not murders that are done out of a personal enmity. They are, you know, choosing who to actually murder.
So
the reason
about a larger
that
conspiracy here, how to terrorize the entire majority community and how such steps were taken, especially when it comes to pre-planned murders of such individuals who were said to be activists as well in the state. For the moment, thank you very much, Deepak. We're talking about the charge sheet that has been filed by the NIA, in particular to those murder cases that have been reported in the state of Karnataka.